thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's all good to see you all, and welcome to everyone who is joining us on Facebook. We thank you and thanks for joining tonight. And today we have a kind of a jam-packed items. We do have an AGM and few speakers. So my name is Henley, Vice President of Gungahlin Community Council, and I want to acknowledge my executive members here. We've got Darren, Raitha, Shah, Prasad, Pradeep, Kevin, and we also have Andrew Braddock, who was our ex-colleague. So welcome everyone, thanks for joining tonight. So we will kick off with the AGM. Apologies. I think we have a couple of apologies. Krishna is an apology, and we do have David Pollard as an apology for tonight. And we got the minutes of previous AGM held on 2nd of December 2020. It's available on our website, so you can watch it. Should be next slides up here. So it's on our gcc.asn.au on our website, and unfortunately our president Peter Edford couldn't join. He's online watching us. We will try to bring him. I'm not sure with the technology whether we can connect him through Facebook. So we will go through the minutes of previous AGM held on 2nd of December. Who wants to move it?
Yeah, I'll move it.
Yeah, Darren, and seconded by Prasad. Yeah, cool. The presentation of President's report. So we'll move on to the next slide. So while Peter is watching online, I'll just quickly give you the brief of the President's report, which is available on our website again, so you can all check it out. So in the past year, it was a challenging year, but we did really well. We had 10 public meetings were held throughout 2021 financial year, 2020-2021 financial year. And the presentation has been made, and we had various government authorities and ministers, property developers and other stakeholders participated in those forums. And we also had the Meet the Candidate Forum because of the ACT state election, which held last year. And we've been constantly updating people on Facebook, on our website, and Twitter, all the social media platform. And we also published Gunsmoke, the newsletter 149, which got published. The material is available on our website, and it also, we also had a limited copies printed as a hard copy form and distributed by the GCC executives throughout the retail outlets and also in other venues in Gungahlin region. So currently we have more than 1,300 subscribers to our Gungahlin email list. If you haven't subscribed, maybe this is your good time to subscribe for our mailing list. And we also have a good presence on Facebook. We have more than 3,000 followers on Facebook. So if you're watching online, if you haven't liked, you might want to do that so that you can get updates from us. We've been working on a lot of infrastructure related work in terms of a lot of workshops been happening with the planning issues, have dominated the work of GCC throughout the reporting period. This include the mixed use developments within Gungahlin Town Centre. We did a major campaign. We had a petition to stop the land release and stuff, and we thank Andrew Braddock to support our petition. And it was consistent with the community feedback. And also, we were engaged in with other developers, where provide them an opportunity to come and give us an update. And the DAs, there were several development applications that's been brought here, and we made a significant participation in the establishment tower, formerly known as the Air Tower thing. And so, although an amended development application for the site was declined in 2020, but eventually it was successful with some modification. And these are some of the highlights, and you can see more details on our website. And there were a couple of motions were passed in the ACT Assembly in February, sponsored by Susan R, calling on ACT government to support the further development of Gungahlin region and the town centre. And we also wrote to the planning minister in March, seeking clarification regarding the DB 364 and actions in response to the motion, inviting him to attend our 14th April public meeting. After a lot of hiccups, finally we were able to have the minister in one of our meetings as well. So it has been great here. We were participated throughout the year with the media, Win News, Canberra Times, Riot, ACT. So the Community Council were involving heavily. I do take this opportunity to thank every executive members, because I'm not sure many would be aware of this. We are a voluntary organisation, so they put more time and support and energy into this. So I want to thank my team for doing a wonderful work. So that so I'll just break down what was written in the President's report. It's available on our website, so please feel free to check it out. We will also paste those links in the comments, so for more details you can do it. So if you're, I'll move, anyone wants to move that? So Darren, Ralitza will pass, second, thanks. So then we'll move on to the presentation on the Treasurer's report. So can you go to the next few slides? Next slide, please. Yeah. So the Treasurer's reports is available online as well. Unfortunately, our Treasurer has an apology today, but we do have the balance sheet, profit and loss statement, and reviewer statements all available online. And the ACT Events Grant, 10,000 for Celebrate Gungahlin received in 2019-20. And we do have bulk of ACT Events Grant spent in 2021 and 2020. 3,553 spent in 2021-22, and we sponsored the Celebrate Gungahlin, which was the event happened in Gungahlin Town Centre. I know a few of you attended, and GCC was one of the significant sponsors as well. And we also spent some money on the campaign that we did, suspend the land sale in Gungahlin Town Centre, and also the less spend on the venue hire and catering due to the COVID pandemic restriction. So we'll do the next one, the presentation of Treasurer's report. So if you're happy with it, who wants to pass it? Shah, and second, Darren. Yeah. All right. So now we come to the appointment of the public officers. So this is an AGM. So that means we declare all the position is void, and I'd like to invite Kevin. You should run that. Okay. You want to come and do that? Leave it first. Should we really appoint Kevin? No. All right. So we're going to go to the AGM procedure. So we will appoint Kevin as our public officer, and Kevin will lead the election process.
So that's what this. Does the secretary have the?
It should come on the slides. Okay.
But we have the nominations.
Yep. So there's the nominations.
Here we go. So we've had nominations for different positions.
Thank you.
We do have.
Which slide is this?
So these are the only people who have nominated for the different positions. We can take more people onto the committee if we wish to. And also we've had a...
Kevin, this time it's all full, so we can't take more people.
Oh, it's all full, but...
Yeah.
Oh, we've got... okay, great.
So if you want, I'm happy to move on to the next slide.
If there's, so the way in which we would normally do these things is that if there are the same number of nominations for positions, and if there are no other nominations, are there any nominations from the floor? Can I have nominations from the floor, people? Would like to nominate? If there are no nominations from the floor, I'll declare that the committee for next year is selected.
It's all there.
And with that, my job is done. And I'll pass over back to the venue.
You can also give me the Kevin.
General business.
Any other general business? No? And that concludes the AGM. Thank you, everyone. So now we're going to move on to our guest speaker for tonight. So we have a couple of guest speakers for tonight. So the first thing, we're going to look into the marketplace stage 4 update. We have Phil with us tonight. Thanks, Phil, for joining us tonight. And we're going to have the presentation shortly.
I was made to stand here because I need to control the laptop.
Right. Whoa. Because the camera needs to move. So do you want to put your laptop here? Thing, or I can drag this.
Oh, it's probably easier, it's higher because we just change the slides all the time.
Okay. I'll just move
That's right.
Yep. Yep. We can see you.
Right. Thank you for everyone. So my name is Philip Nexted. I'm the development manager looking after the next stage of the development for the marketplace, Gungahlin. And so tonight, I'll be interested in the team looking after the project. I'll talk about the construction time and when we're going to start the project and when we've finished it. I'll go through the existing centre layout, but I'm sure everyone's quite familiar with the shopping centre. I'll go through what the area that's going to be developed, and I'll just show you exactly what we're doing, and I'll finish off with a fly-through and some artist impression of what it's going to look like. So the team essentially is 3 divisions, which is the centre management division, the development division and the construction division. So the centre management team are based in the centre, and they look after all the customer related issues and all the retailers. The development division, which I sit in, put the whole project together and dealt with all the authority approvals. And our construction division is the division that's actually going to build the project. So they'll be on site actually physically building the project. The project is going to start in February next year, so only 2 months away from starting the project, and we'll be finishing the project and opening the new centre in July 2023. So it's an 18-month build. Probably don't need to go through this slide too much, but so the centre's broken up onto 2 parcels of land separated by Hibbers Street. You've got Kmart and Woolworths on one side and Big W on the other side on the ground floor. And on level 1, we've got some commercial suites above the Woolworths Centre and a commercial level sitting on the Big W Centre, which is anchored by the Montessori Academy and Fernwood. So the area that we're going to be developing is building another level on top of the Kmart Mall. So that was built with a concrete lid on it, and also building a pedestrian bridge which will span over Hibson Street, which will actually connect the 2 centres together. In our Crown lease, we've got to do this development, so it was a provision in our Crown lease that we were always going to do a second stage of development at the marketplace, and so this is finishing our Crown lease obligations as well. That's just a plan looking at the level that we're actually developing. So you can see that there's 3 major tenants going in and another major tenant going in over here. So the centre is going to be anchored by MM1, which will be Audi. So Audi's going to relocate to a much larger store up here. So currently they're in about 1,200 square metres. They'll be going to about a 1,700 square metre store. So it'll be their brand new format store. They've been looking to expand that store, which they can't do in their current location for the last 5 years, so they're quite excited. MM2 is going to be Chemist Warehouse. So Chemist Warehouse is currently trading in about 330 odd square metres. They're going to be 1,000 square metres. So this will be the largest Chemist Warehouse in the ACT. And they've only done their 1,000 square metre format in Victoria at the moment, so this will be their first store outside Victoria. MM3 is Daily Asian Grocer, so 1,000 square metre Asian grocer going in, and a 700 square metre Indian grocer. So very food and convenience based development. And in the middle of the mall, we're putting in a children's play zone, so much bigger than we're still keeping the children's play area down in the Big W Centre, but this will be a much larger kiddies play area surrounded by cafes and seating. And, the centre is going to be connected by travellators, so travellators will run up from these next to the existing travellators, which is through here. A new set of escalators will go at the front of Kmart, going up to the new mall. The passenger lift will connect this level as well to all the level below, plus all car park levels. And there'll be new parents' room, female, male toilets and accessible toilets going in as well. The bridge link will go through and connect through to the top of just outside Montessori, but I'll go through the works that are happening in the Big W Centre as well. On the ground floor essentially is going to stay the same. The only key change is the escalators going in the front of Kmart and a new set of travellators going next to the existing travellators. In the Big W Centre, the South Mall, the key change is going to be the relocation of the escalator. So the escalator is currently sitting on the left-hand side as you come in. We're going to relocate it to a central location of the centre outside Big W. So when you come up outside Big W, that's Montessori here. I think we're relocating this entry, just moving it slightly to here. So when you come up the escalator, you'll be able to access the rooftop car park, but also walk across the road and into the Stage 4 mall. So nice and convenient. Big W are very happy because at the moment when you come down that escalator, you're actually directed outside the centre. So you'll be inside the centre. And that's just the ground floor, just showing that the existing escalator is moving from virtually here to a nice central location within the mall. So it should start improving the traffic movements. That's just a cross-section of the new mall. The key thing to note there is the width of the mall. So the width of the mall, the Commonwealth Mall is going to be about 22 metres wide, so a nice wide mall that people can move within. The existing facade will just increase to accommodate the new development. It'll be the same finishes as existing, so it's probably not going to look too much different, but a little bit higher. That's just an artist's impression of the ground floor of a new escalators going up to the new mall. That's an artist's impression looking from the top of the escalators down the new mall. So the new mall is going to have a glass roof, so lots of natural light going into the new mall. The finishes are very external finishes, so granite flooring, steel balustrading rather than glass balustrading. So it's trying to be, well it actually is, more of a natural outdoor feeling space rather than a glossy terrazzo. Some other impressions. But when I'll take you through the fly-through will give you a much better, so I'll do right now. Escape.
There's a lot of natural light.
Yeah, there is, which will be really nice.
Are we using any solar power?
Pardon?
Are we using sustainable energy, solar power?
Hang on, I'll just stop this. I can answer questions at the end, yeah. Oh, it's not coming up. Why is it not coming up?
Do you want to play sound?
Sorry?
Do you want to play a video? Is it?
Yeah, but it should be going through the computer. I'll try it again. They won't, I don't know why it's not coming up. Anyway, I can show you on my laptop. It should, this should be mirroring the screen, shouldn't it? Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't know what happened then. Technology. Yeah, just trying to get it to. There we go. So it's starting from Hibberson Street. So there you go. So that's what you should be seeing about 18 months' time when you shop at the marketplace. So you had a question on.
Are we using the sustainable energy with solar energy generation?
Yeah, there's solar energy. We're using solar energy now. I'm probably not aware of that, but there's actually solar. We've got solar panels on the roof, so they'll definitely be relocated, and we're using that solar. And part of the reason for the natural light coming in there, we won't be using obviously electricity during the day in that mall.
Any other question?
I just wanted to ask about parking for the construction work for 18 months. Where's there going to be allocated parking for that?
Yeah. So the parking, that's all been signed off by the government and the TTM. So the parking is going to be on section 228, which is a section, there's a section of 228 that's been allocated for construction parking. So the actual parking will remain unaffected through the whole development work. We're not taking any parking spaces away through the development works at all.
So I'm really happy to see the Sky Bridge because I suggested that a number of years ago,
Yeah.
and I think you mentioned something about that it might
Yeah.
come to fruition. So that's really exciting because that's the only thing really that was sort of missing from my perspective was obviously more space and shops, but when it rained, you obviously had to cross across
Yeah.
there, and so I'm really excited. I think it'd be really good to see that expansion. So
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think so
So-
too. And the design is not like any other shopping centre in Canberra at the moment. So
I just wish you had enough space for a cinema. That would be that would be great. Not going to touch that.
I could go there because we actually did have plans.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to go there because we couldn't actually do them because of the cinema going down the road.
Oh, really? Wow,
Yeah.
that would have been a perfect spot.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a shame.
Anyway.
Yep, we've got a few more questions.
I'd like to see a flyover of me parking. So I go to shop at Aldi.
Yep.
Where do I park?
Yep. So you'll be parking on. So all the signage for Audi is going to go in the Big W Centre because the rooftop parking at the
It's
moment
going to
is very underutilised. So part of the reason why Audi were interested in this site is because you can park on the rooftop and actually walk straight across the bridge into the store. So
Right.
all the signage for Audi will be directing people onto that rooftop car park.
Yeah.
And they've even said to us that they'll be doing an education campaign to their customers, telling them about that rooftop.
And
car
can you do the same sort of thing that they do at Belconnen Mall, so we don't have to take tickets all the time?
Tickets
We just
for-
drive in, and it looks at our number plates.
Yeah, so we looked at that as well, but unfortunately, unless technology has changed, which we can check in the next 18 months, we don't have the distance. So Westfield Belconnen, for example, has got a whole team that sits behind the scenes because they're a much larger centre, and they can actually look at. So the technology needs, I think it's like 15 odd metres to actually read the number plate. And if it can't read it properly, it pops up on a screen, and there's people that sit in Westfield Belconnen actually then decipher if it doesn't come up properly. And so we, in the stage, the Kmart car park, there isn't the distance for the cameras to read. So I actually wanted to put that in. That's the reason why we got the tickets, yeah. Because I agree, it's so much easier, less paper, yeah.
Is there going to be any increase in the number of accessible toilets or change facilities for the
So we're
disabled?
putting in brand new toilets. So there's a new accessible toilet going in. So that'll actually cater for somebody that's got severe disabilities. It's actually in a stretcher. So that's going up on that new mall as well. It's quite a large room. So definitely, yeah.
There's a few questions online. The first one I'm not too sure of, but maybe you can help me with. What will happen to the Gunners Place community area?
Okay, so there's a temporary, they're currently in a temporary store. Is that the one they're talking about, the community centre?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
they're currently in a temporary store up on level 1, so we're looking to try and relocate them into another temporary store. So the government's looking for a permanent space
Okay.
for them. They're just temporarily leasing space within the centre until they get that permanent space.
Yeah, I just wasn't too sure.
Yeah,
What that
yeah.
was. The next one is what will happen where Audi is currently? Will this be a new car park or new shops?
I don't know,
I didn't think
because
you
we don't own that site. So Audi currently own that site.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, so I don't know what they're doing with that yet.
With the Aldi one, they said when it moves to, when they created the Amuru one, eventually they were saying they will move to the Amuru and then they close the one more year, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's going to happen in 2023, so I guess I don't know yet.
The next question was, have plans changed as a result of any learnings from COVID restrictions?
No, not really, no. People are still, unfortunately, well, they're shopping at Aldi and shopping.
Somebody mentioned something about could you not create the distance for the? I'm assuming that's in reference to the number plate reading restriction or something like that.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't on that. It's very tight through there now.
No, that's okay. Well, those are the Facebook questions.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Is there any other questions in the forum? Just a one question with the car parks. How many extra car park are we aiming for?
No, but what we're putting in is a directional system through the car parks. At the moment, a lot of people are circulating and wanting to park on that green level directly underneath Woolworths and not realising that there's not 300 spots directly under them. So there'll be signage going 300 cars down the ramp, because we've got a lot of cars that actually aren't utilised at the moment. We're only at like 50% utilisation rate at the moment. But the traffic report's all available through the ACT government.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Great,
Thanks,
thank you
Phil.
very much. Thank you. Here's your...
It's always exciting developments coming up.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be good. Right. Thank you very much.
Just make sure that I'm on the frame this time. Thanks, Phil. That was great. If you have further questions, if you're watching online, you are welcome to comment those questions. We would be more than happy to, send those questions to the marketplace people, Phil. So now we come to the next one. We're going to get an Arabi Pond upgrade from Ken Marshall. Thanks, Ken.
Put that back in there.
Yeah, you can do that.
I don't know whether that height's going to work for you, Sophie. We'll deal with that when we come to it.
That's why I like this is the online one, so you got to hold it or you can pin it over there.
All right. So thanks very much for having us this evening. I don't think we'll need to take up a huge amount of your time. We just wanted to introduce to you a project that is current and will progress through the rest of this financial year around some improvements on Yerrabee Pond. My name's Ken Marshall, so I'm from TCCS, City Operations. My colleague Sophie Clemens is also here. She's managing the project, so she'll be able to give us a little bit more detail on what's proposed and what the timelines are and what the opportunities will be for you and others to be involved in the process and express views and see designs as they're developed. So the project is, I guess, not to be is distinct from an initiative in the earlier, the previous budget cycle, which is delivering a range of sort of maintenance level improvements around the pond. But this project in the current financial year is really about investigating the feasibility and developing preliminary designs for some improvements around toilet facilities, parking, lighting, and some picnic facilities. So again, Sophie can walk us through in a little more detail what that looks like. So I guess important to manage expectations in that this is a feasibility and design project, so the delivery of whatever is decided and whatever is designed, the detailed design and the delivery of that infrastructure depends on future government budget decisions, but this is the way the process works, I suppose. So this is the first phase of identifying what can be done and scoping out a project that can be considered in a future budget. So maybe, Sophie, if you want to just step up and talk us through what's being looked at.
Do I need to have this? I can hold that. Is it alright if I hold it?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Sorry. I thought that would just tilt. All right. Oh, thanks, Ken. Oh no, I just had some notes I wanted to keep handy. There we go. So, as Ken said, this is a project that was funded in this financial year, and it's for upgrades to the public realm infrastructure around Yerrabee Pond. Just as a bit of background, in April and June of this year, TCCS or government did come to the community and ask what sort of upgrades you might like to see at Yerrabee Pond and how you use the area and what you'd sort of like to see happen in the future, maybe where some opportunities are or some issues that might need to be resolved. And a few of the things we heard through that we're picking up in this project were around the public toilets, more toilets, improving the existing facilities, lighting improvements, and also we've heard that there's some demand for parking, particularly around that commercial local shops area. So this project will undertake feasibility and design work, and we've kind of broken that up into, there's 5 key elements, and that's looking at the existing toilets adjacent to the adventure playground, and those are linked with the barbecue facilities and picnic facilities, so we'll look at those jointly and look at upgrading those toilets to provide more modern and appropriate facilities, and look at sort of what the opportunities are for that, noting that it is an integrated structure. Then we'll look at new toilets at the Besant Street playground. I think there's quite a lot of feedback that playground would benefit from having toilets that are readily accessible to the playground, and that we'll look at sort of a demand analysis there, but we'll certainly look at providing an accessible toilet and probably a facility that also has a baby change table as well. The parking facilities, so that's looking at the commercial area along the waterfront there, and I think we've heard that there's often a high level of demand there and not enough parking. So we'll look at options around there. There's a couple of places that we'll look at. We just need to do a bit of feasibility on what's possible in terms of levels and grades from a civil infrastructure perspective and from the existing road environment, and also what's appropriate for the residential area and for the commercial precinct there as well. And street lighting. So we will look at street lighting through this project on the northwestern side of Yerrabee Pond, and we have had a question as to why we're not looking at the whole pond, and we're actually looking at trialling some solar lights around the southeastern, I think, or northeastern, but the eastern end of the pond, so that will happen later this year, and so this project will look at the feasibility and design for lighting around that northwestern section of the pond. And lastly is some additional picnic facilities, and that's again at that waterfront picnic area just opposite the commercial centre. So I think it was identified through the consultation process that might benefit from some barbecue seating in that area. So we'll look at that as well. Now, in terms of a timeline around that work, we're in the process of procuring a design consultant at the moment, so we would hope to have them engaged early in the new year. From February through to March, we'll do those site investigations and feasibility, a bit of due diligence, and develop some initial concepts. We'll finalise those into preliminary designs sort of April through to June, and at that time we'll also come back to check in with the community about what those designs are looking like. So we'll likely publish those through Your Say and just check in that we're on track, we haven't missed any opportunities or any issues that are maybe glaringly obvious that we haven't seen. And we'll then take that PSP through to a detailed design, which we expect to be complete mid-2022. And as Ken said at that point, that's the end of this project, and so any progression of that design through to construction is subject to future funding processes. Yeah. So any questions?
I haven't really got any questions. I just wanted to thank both Ken and yourself for coming and talking to the community, particularly the Friends of Yerrabee Pond. It appears that our concerns have been heard and the community's concerns have been heard. So yeah, we're really looking forward to working with you and the rest of the community in order to, you know, upgrade Yarrabee Ponds. So we're pretty excited. So
Great.
thanks very much for coming tonight, and
Thanks.
and yeah, hopefully we've got some more questions or.
There's quite a large area opposite where the commercial areas are.
On the waterfront?
Back from at one stage they were thinking of putting a scout hut there, but back for there's a whole area there that's open space, and I'm just wondering if that's going to remain as open space or.
I wouldn't envision us changing it from open space.
So it doesn't come under your jurisdiction, or
Just to check, we're thinking of the right spot. So it's in front of those commercial shops along the waterfront.
no,
there. So
over the opposite side of the lake?
on the other side of the pond, on the northern side.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not looking at doing any work in there at the moment.
Who looks after that?
I think we do. It's public
You-
land, so TCCS would
So
manage
you
it.
do look after that?
Mhm.
It just seems to be a bit, you know, unused sort of thing, or doesn't seem to have any theme to it at all at the moment. So I'm just wondering whether that's should be part of your
There's
consideration.
no proposals at the moment, and I don't recall hearing that come through the public consultation as somewhere to focus attention. We can go back and have a look and come back through
We can
the
take the
community council. Yeah.
Yeah, there were some people put up a proposal for doing a sustainability type plants that will survive for the next through the next 30 or 40 years of global warming. So that was a proposal that someone suggested at one stage.
So I guess any suggestion of an alternative use of that space would be clearly at a very preliminary stage, so it might not
Yeah.
be feasible for us to progress it
No,
under this
no.
project, but we can certainly capture the ideas
Yeah,
and
okay.
feed them into the process
Yeah.
for future consideration.
And people can continue to put in ideas to you. Just
So, I mean, we have been through a consultation process and we've got direction under this project for what we're looking at. I think in terms of ideas for the future of Yarrabee Pond, you should certainly bring those forward to the government. I'm wondering, and this is probably a little bit outside of our scope, but there are groups I know in Watson and maybe Hackett, where they've been doing some community planting projects, that are
yes,
particularly around microforests.
yes, that's right.
So it might be they're bringing those proposals to government and sort of driving them themselves.
Right.
So it might be worth having a chat with one of those
Yeah,
groups.
they're looking at Casey at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but this might be a place that's useful to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they're quite a grassroots process. So usually it's someone from that community. So it might be you, and would
Yeah.
contact them and drive that. Yeah.
And we had a presentation here about someone was talking about doing something in the water, floating.
EPSDD are progressing a floating wetland.
So is that
So
part of
that's-
your?
It's because it's under the environment portfolio within another directorate. We're coordinating with them, but we're not delivering that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that would seem to be good to coordinate very
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
That's it.
Thank you.
All right.
Any other questions?
And I forgot to mention, TCCS have been involved with Rotary to deliver the rotunda, which was recently opened in that area as well. So that's pretty exciting, and that'll be, I think there's an opening for that this weekend on Saturday. I think it
Proposals
is.
in place. So yeah,
It
that,
is-
that earlier project from last budget cycle funded some support for that project in the form of some power and footpath access.
And I heard that the Flying Fox, all of the
Right.
softball has been installed, and that looks
correct.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And apparently that's open now.
It
So.
is, yeah.
And TCCS was also involved recently with a wetlands planting as well, which was on the
Yep.
Amaroo side there.
Yep.
So that's really exciting. And there's a whole bunch of shared path signs that are going up. There's a multitude of bins that have already been installed.
Some surrounds to come, I understand.
There's a half height or some. There's a climbing wall that'll be going in soon. There's also some signs that are around that have addressed some big issues that have been around there about dog waste and things like that. So that's really good. There's a campaign that's been involved there. So yeah, there's lots going on at the moment. So thanks again for your support.
Thank you for having us.
I'll come back to Kevin. There's a question from online. There are multiple government areas involved. Who is the owner or accountable party for this project?
TCCS.
Okay, excellent. Kevin?
I shouldn't talk in acronyms. Transport Canberra and City Services. Sorry.
The bike, the bike, or the place where the mountain bikers jump over things and do things.
The dirt jumps, yeah.
That was financed, I believe, by the Raiders Club, right? That was put in as they were supposed to build the oval, right? But they didn't do that. As part of their deal for getting the Raiders Club, they were supposed to do the oval, but they backed out of that somehow or other, and then they put in the bicycle thing. Maybe they should be approached to get some money to fix up some of those things as well. I mean, when organisations as their offsets put in something, who's responsible then for maintenance of these things?
I don't have the detail of any previous arrangement, but I can take that intel on board and make some inquiries.
Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Thank you very much for that presentation. It's great to know the update. And on that note, on 11th, the coming Saturday at 2:30 p.m., we got the great grand opening of the Saturday Rotunda. So it's a Rotunda Christmas celebration and the grand opening. I think a lot of activities happening, barbecue. You can have a good picnic. So if you haven't planned anything, you can have that planned. So we were supposed to have another presentation tonight regarding Gold Creek, but unfortunately we will be missing it because of the technical difficulties. They want to join online, but we couldn't connect tonight. So we'll have the Gold Creek Homestead Retirement Living presentation as part of the next public meeting. I think that's from us, and thank you for joining tonight. And I also take the opportunity to thank the committee members who were in the previous year. We want to take this time to thank them for all the support and work, and also welcome the new committee. And thank you and welcome on board. And with that note, we are signing off for December for 2021. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. Thank you. Bye.